Leadoff Man, brought to you by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs.
Happy music on the north side. We are live from Wrigley Field. It's time for the Leadoff Man here on WGN Sports, and these confines not so friendly for the opposition these days. The Cubs have rattled off 12 of their last 16 at home, and they go for the sweep today against the Houston Astros. Hi again, everyone. I'm Len Casper. Welcome to the Leadoff Man. The Cubs are hot. They have won 14 of 18. They try to sweep the Astros at Wrigley Field in a 3-game set for the first time since 1984. Let's check out the highlights from Game 2 yesterday. Not looking very good right off the bat is Chris Burke leading off the game with a triple. Also knocked right fielder Cliff Floyd out of the game with a strained left shoulder. He is day-to-day. Probably won't see Cliff at all in the ball game this afternoon. So it was 1-0, but then into the fourth, an 0-2 count on Cesar Torres. This is how the Cubs' luck is changing. It was called a foul ball, but the replays seem to indicate that he did not touch the pitch. A couple of pitches later, the Cubs would take advantage of the call as Torres lining a single for their first hit of the game. It wouldn't be done after a Derek Lee two-base hit. Aramis Ramirez with 2 on drives the ball to the ivy. It would be a ground rule double, and the Cubs taking a 2-1 advantage. One batter later, Mark DeRosa with a swinging bunt. Brad Ausmus with the 5th error by the Astros already in this series. That was way wide at first. Ramirez scoring 3-1 Cubs. They would continue the offensive onslaught in the 5th inning. Ramirez again. Base hit into left. Soriano followed by his Torres. 5-1 at that point. 6th inning, they continue to pound Roy Oswalt. He gave up 9 runs. Ted Lilly helping his own cause with an RBI single. And then finally, the home run drought ends in a big way. Alfonso Soriano with 2 men on, the crushing blow, 3-run shot, 10-game home run drought over. 9-1 at that point. Ted Lilly got way more runs than he needed. Phenomenal again. 8 innings. Gave up just 1 earned run, 4 hits, struck out 7. The 2nd inning strikeout on Hunter Pence, number 900 in his career. And the Cubs beat the Astros 9-3. They try to go for the sweep today. 3.5 out in the division, just 3 back in the wild card. Interesting lineup today for Lou Piniella. He'll talk about why Alfonso Soriano's not batting leadoff when we come back. Welcome back to Wrigley Field, and the Cubs have played great baseball here. They're over 500 at home for the first time all season. Remember, the Cubs have shuttled their catchers, their center fielders. It hasn't really mattered what the lineup has looked like, and another change today as Lou Piniella has decided against left-handers. The Cubs have struggled against southpaws to put Alfonso Soriano 5th. So you have Terrio, Fontenot, Lee, Ramirez, and then Soriano at the top today for the Cubs. Let's hear from the manager on his interesting lineup.
We've struggled a little bit against left-hand pitching, and I talked to Alfonso to see if we get a little more balance in the middle part of our lineup, gets us a little deeper. We're just going to try it and see what happens. I've still got speed with Terrio and Fontenot, and now we get a little more power in the middle. Just see how it works. This is against left-handers. There's nothing. He'll be back in the leadoff spot tomorrow, and I talked to him about it. I wanted to make sure he was comfortable with it because he's doing his job and doing it well.
Have you always never been afraid to experiment with lineups, even in the middle of the year?
I think
like
you've seen that.
Guys around you?
I think you've seen that we're not too concerned about it. If we think it can work, we'll try it. And all we can do is try it. If it doesn't work, well, we'll see it. But, you know, last road trip we went 7 games. We've beat right-handers 4 times and lost 3 times to left-handers. And we didn't really generate too much offense. So we're just going to try this and see. I mean, Alfonso can hit you a 3-run homer as easy as anybody else. So it gets us deeper into the lineup. It gives us a little different look. And we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll just go back to where we were. I like the idea of when something isn't working the way that you like, that you tinker around with it and find another solution to it. I mean, that's my job as a manager.
Are you amazed Alfonso's just accepted all these moves?
Alfonso's just a great kid. He's just a great kid, and this young man, he likes to play baseball. He's got a wonderful disposition and great enthusiasm, and He's a winner. He comes out here and gives you everything he's got every day. And I wouldn't do this if he didn't feel comfortable with it, and I wouldn't do this if I hadn't talked to him prior to doing it.
Well, Alfonso's hot. He's hit in 9 in a row, but again, batting 5th today, and hopefully some RBI chances. The Cubs just 8-14 against lefties. Wandy Rodriguez will pitch for the Astros. We'll talk about the Cubs starting pitcher, Jason Marquis, as well, when we come back. Starting pitchers now. Jason Marquis looks to improve his career second half numbers, 10 games under after the All-Star break. Left-hander Wandy Rodriguez for Houston. He is not allowed to run over his last 2 starts, including a 4-hit complete game shutout versus the Mets in his final appearance before the All-Star break. Wind today blowing in a little bit right to left at the moment. Might help the left-handed hitters, but again, it was blowing out yesterday, and only 1 home run combined to this point in the set. We'll have Cubs baseball. Should be exciting as they go for the weekend sweep over the Astros. We'll have all the action coming up next.
The leadoff man has been brought to you by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs.
North side for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, and you can feel the buzz in and around this ballpark as the Cubs continue their assault towards the top of the NL Central. Right now 3.5 back of Milwaukee, but playing their best baseball of the year, and they go for the sweep today against the Houston Astros. Welcome to Cubs baseball. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you once again, and good start to the second half. One thing Lou Piniella has not been afraid to do is make changes in his lineup, and even though this team is playing well, he believes they could be better against lefties.
Well, Lou doesn't make unnecessary changes. He makes changes when he thinks they are necessary, and against left-handers, the Cubs have struggled this year, so a little different look to the lineup. Some speed at the top with Terrio and Fontenot. Wandy Rodriguez is very slow in his delivery to the plate. Maybe we'll see some more stolen bases today.
Alfonso Soriano batting 5th. Right behind him, Mark DeRosa. He played 3 defensive spots yesterday, and just as versatile as it comes, and he's been hot at the plate.
This guy's a manager's dream. You put him anywhere on the field. He started at 4 positions. He's played 5 positions, and it has not affected his offense one little bit.
Jason Marquis will pitch for the Cubs. Always seems to pitch better in the first half than the second half. He's trying to change his fortune this year.
Yeah, coming off a real shaky outing last time out. For me personally, I think he needs to change speeds a little more. We think back to the beginning of the season when Jason was very good. He was using that straight changeup a lot in fastball counts. Hasn't done that as much lately.
The Cubs knocked around the ace of the Astros yesterday, Roy Oswalt, but actually Wandy Rodriguez has probably been better than all the Astros starters lately.
Well, especially his last 2 starts, a complete game, a total of 16 innings, has not allowed a run in his last 16 innings pitched, both victories.
Another beautiful day here at Wrigley Field. We're getting set for the first pitch, but first, God Bless America and our national anthem, today performed by Amber.
Amber in the singing of God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with calm. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets right there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is a place to be, Wrigley Field. The Cubs go for the 3-game sweep. Big homestand. Giants coming in tomorrow. Should be fun today. Astros and Cubs next.
Chicago Cubs baseball. Brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. Comcast. Catch more Cubs home games in HD on Comcast Digital Cable. Call 1-888-4BEST-TV today. The Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Pretty nice ride. Alfonso Soriano arrived in the Cubby blue vehicle. And he'll head out to left field. Batting fifth today against the left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. And the fans taking the field with the Cubs as they do every Sunday here at home. Today's Cubs broadcast on WGN Sports, your official summer baseball station, is presented in high definition, sponsored by Comcast, and brought to you in 5.1 Dolby Surround Sound. And the Cubs again have won 14 of 18, and they're above 500 at home for the first time all year, 22-21. Couple of games over on the road. Good opportunity here during this 10-game homestand to jump way above 500. Right now 3 over on the season. Let's check in on Phil Garner's Astros starting lineup. Chris Burke's going to lead off once again at second base. Hunter Pence going after the National League Rookie of the Year. He bats second. Berkman, Lee, Loretta 3 through 5. Mike Lamb is at third. Luke Scott in right. And the battery today for Houston, Ausmus and Rodriguez.
And here's how the Cubs take the field defensively today behind starter Jason Marquis. Brought to you by Pepsi, your world, your Pepsi. Soriano in left, Pagan in center. There's that guy, Mark DeRosa, playing right field today. Ramos Ramirez at third base, Ryan Theriot at short, Mike Fontenot at second base, Derek Lee over at first. Giovanni Soto will be doing the catching today for the right-hander Jason Marquis. See his numbers on the season coming off that subpar outing against the Pirates. He went only 4 2/3, gave up 8 hits and 6 earned runs against the Buccos in Pittsburgh. Hoping to fare much better today against the Astros.
And his first pitch is a sinker for a strike right at the knees on Chris Burke. Tripled and scored the Astros' first run yesterday. .72 degrees. And the winds out of the east at 6.
That translates to blowing across from the right field corner to the left field corner. Should knock down balls hit the right and perhaps help balls hit the left a little bit.
Only 1 home run between these two teams in the first 2 games of the series. Soriano's 3-run homer yesterday in the dirt, as Marquis matches up with Soto for the first time here in the regular season.
Pretty easy to figure out Jason Marquis. We've talked about it throughout the season. When his sinker is working well and he's keeping it down in the zone, that's when he's at his best. Backdoor sinker for a called strike. And Chris Burke to start the ball game.
Now the Cubs have 3 catchers on their active roster: Coy Hill, Rob Bowen. Not one of the 3 began the year with the Cubs, but would the veterans Hill and Bowen maybe get in Giovanni's ear and just tell him a couple things about Jason Marquis and how he likes to handle things?
I don't think there's any question that both Bowen and Coy Hill pulled Giovanni Soto aside and talked about Jason Marquis' previous starts, what to look for when things start to come unraveled a little bit. Maybe his go-to pitches in certain counts when he needs to throw a strike. What does he like to do? And I'm sure that Giovanni and Jason sat down before the ball game and talked about how they wanted to attack this Astros lineup.
Hunter Pence, line shot over Soriano just beneath the basket. And Pence gets in at second base. Soriano really played that carom well, but Pence with a 1-out double. 24th two-base hit already for Hunter Pence, who didn't come up to the big leagues until late April.
And this is our first look live at Hunter Pence, but one thing I have seen in this 3-game series, he loves to pull the ball. With 2 strikes, he's willing to go to the opposite field, but up until 2 strikes, he's looking for something he can pull hard into left field. He got the pitch this time. And fortunately for Hunter Pence, he was running hard out of the batter's box because Alfonso Soriano got that ball on a carom off the wall and got it back into second base quickly.
Now the switch hitting Lance Berkman. Berkman playing first. Looks like he might have some new batting gloves on. I'm blinded up here just looking down at those shiny white batting gloves.
Try something different.
That's a strike. 1-1.
We see Doug Manzolino, the third base coach for the Astros, way down the line at third. He's not even remotely close to that coaching box. The idea is to give himself as much leeway with Hunter Pence coming around third base as possible to either send him on home or stop him and push him back toward third base. I don't think he'd be standing there with a right-handed pull hitter at the plate, but feels safe doing it with Lance Berkman up there.
The 2-1 to Berkman, a roller up the middle and a base hit. Manzolino sends Pence, and it's 1-0 Astros. First hit of the series for Berkman, now 1 for 8. And he's now 18 for 30 in his career against Jason Marquis.
They got a good pitch to hit. Looked like that was a slider that just didn't take the break, up and out over the plate. A harmless ground ball back up the middle of the field from our Southwest RoboCam. Clean ground single into center field. By the time Pagan gets there, once again Hunter Pence's speed takes away any chance for a play at the plate.
So 18 for 30, just doing the math. I believe that's a 600 batting average for Berkman versus Marquis. Kick and the 0-1 to the All-Star Carlos Lee. That's a strike. 0-2. Well, you don't want to face Lee with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. 13 sac flies already for Lee. And on the hands, fouled back.
Part of that is just a byproduct of his swing. He has a little bit of an uppercut in his swing. He gets a lot of balls in the air to the outfield. But more than that, I think it's just his mental approach. When he gets a guy at third base with less than 2 outs, he's making sure he gets a pitch up in the zone, a pitch he knows he can lift in the air to the outfield. It's just a good run producer.
Marquis 7-5 against the Astros, including 0-1 this year. First start in over a week. It was a week ago Friday at Pittsburgh. Lee waves at strike 3.
That's the kind of swing you usually see from Carlos Lee, even with 2 strikes. Just a perfectly located backdoor sinker just off the plate away, tailing back over the outside corner from our Southwest RoboCam. Second out of the top half of the first inning.
Mark Loretta digging in, playing short. Adam Everett on the disabled list with a broken right leg. Marquis has a sign from Soto. The 0-1 with Berkman running. Off the plate, the throw by Soto. Save. Very close. Greg Gibson with the call. Crowd didn't like it, but Berkman able to get in. A minor argument there for Mike Fontenot.
5th stolen base on the season for Berkman. Puts that left arm out there. Oh, not so sure if Fontenot got that tag on before he got the right hand back on the base, but he definitely missed the left arm. And it looks like Greg Gibson got the call right. A little trick slide there from Lance Berkman.
Soto's still looking for his first major league caught stealing.
I think this is one of those plays that probably gets more arguments from major league managers than anything else. I mean, the ball beats him there. The tag is down in front of the base. And normally that's a routine out at second base. Some umpires will watch for a definitive tag. Others will just call the runner out because the ball beat him to the base. That time Greg Gibson did not see a definitive tag before Berkman got his hand on the base.
Pulled to short on the ground, and Terrio will throw out Mark Loretta. The Astros get a run on 2 hits, 1 left. Cubs coming up against left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Now let's check in on Lou Piniella's Cubs lineup today against the Astros, brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. Terrio, Fontenot, Lee, Ramirez. Then how about Alfonso Soriano hitting 5th? Mark DeRosa in the 6th spot. Soto, Pagan, Marquis rounded out.
Take a look at the Astros defensively. Carlos Lee, Hunter Pence, and Luke Scott across the outfield. Lamb, Loretta, Burke, and Berkman across the infield. Mark Loretta, very uncharacteristically, has made a couple errors in this series. Brad Ausmus behind the plate with an error of his own yesterday. He'll be doing the catching today for left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. This guy's been much better at home in Houston than he's been on the road this year. 5-2 with a 1.81 ERA in home games. 1-5 with a 6.60 on the road. You see his overall numbers for the season.
1-0 on Terrio. Make it 2-0 on a patient hitter. Who's in the leadoff spot. The Cubs have struggled against lefties. 8-14 on the year. So Lou Piniella looking for some more balance in the middle of the lineup against lefties only. Soriano will be back hitting first tomorrow night against right-hander Tim Lincecum of the Giants. And he said if this doesn't work, we'll do something else. But I think the key was, he said, when we started the year, our catcher was a middle of the order hitter, Michael Barrett. Well, now the catcher is basically going to hit 7th or 8th. So a little more speed at the top, a little more thump in the middle. With Soriano hitting 5th.
And I mentioned in the open of the show, Wandy Rodriguez can get very slow in his delivery to home plate. This is a guy that I think the Cubs may try to exploit on the bases a little bit today.
Chris Burke will make the catch. A deep at bat, but results in a pop out for Terrio. And now it's Mike Fontenot. It's kind of interesting. Terrio and Fontenot, they've kind of swapped hot streaks. When one guy has struggled, the other guy has gotten hot. And lately it's been Terrio hitting .467 over his last 9.
Well, you can live with that. I mean, obviously you would prefer both guys to be hot at the same time, but the one thing you want to avoid is both guys in a slump at the same time. So as long as one of them is swinging the hot bat, you can afford to put both of them in the lineup at the same time. And I think Fontenot serves a useful purpose in this lineup today. He's the only left-handed bat that Lou Piniella sends up there against Wandy Rodriguez. I think sometimes when you load a lineup with right-handed hitters, it makes it too easy for that opposing pitcher to establish that outside corner to the right-hander, and he'll just keep pounding away at that outside corner. If you try to do that with the left-hand hitting Fontenot at the plate, that's a pitch that'll be in his happy zone, down and in. Yeah, ideally you have a couple of left-handed hitters who hit lefties well that you can just leave in the lineup against the left-handed starter, make it a little tougher for that opposing pitcher to lock in on one side of the plate all afternoon.
Rodriguez 28, 5'11", 160. Called strike 3. Fastball locks up Fontenot, 2 down.
Yeah, nothing too tricky there from Rodriguez. Just a fastball down the plate. He caught Fontenot looking for something else. Rodriguez will throw 2 different fastballs, one that will tail back into the lefty or away from the righty. Occasionally he'll cut his fastball in on a right-handed hitter. Big over-the-top curveball and a straight changeup.
Good hand for Derek Lee. And he's 4 for 7 against Rodriguez. 2 doubles, a home run. He's also walked 4 times. Looking for his first home run since June 3rd. Rips it on the ground. Diving stop. Mark Loretta. Ball got away from him. And it'll be an infield hit for Lee. We'll get his average back up into the 330s.
Don't think Loretta would have had a play even if he's able to get to his feet successfully here after diving to stop that hot smash. That's been one thing that's really been surprising in this series. Mark Loretta is normally one of the most sure-handed, sure-armed infielders in the game. Brad Ausmus, their catcher, normally one of the most sure-handed, sure-armed catchers in the game. And both of those guys have made defensive miscues in this series. Very surprising.
Fouled back by Ramirez. Ramos with 4 RBIs yesterday, including the big go-ahead RBI, 2 RBI double. That gave the Cubs a 2-1 advantage. They would not look back the rest of the way. One strike the count. Astros got a run in the top of the first. Got to mention this early on. Our good friend Tom Otis Hellman, the Cubs clubhouse manager, with a big birthday today. He's been the bat boy. You know the Cubs want to win for Otis. I'm told it's his 71st birthday. I thought he was in his early 50s. Don't know what happened. Tapper by Ramirez. Ausmus throws out Lance Berkman. And my suitcase has no shot of getting to the hotel on our next trip. 1-0. 1-0 Astros. Second inning. A couple of lefties to start it. Lamb, Scott, and then the right-handed hitting Brad Ausmus. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. This unbelievable weather run continues. It's going to warm up, I believe, coming up this week. And it's going to heat up at the ballpark. The Giants come in for 4 starting tomorrow.
What's the big deal?
Barry Bonds right now is 751 career home runs. And a lot of times, Bob, when the Giants come in, you think about playoff runs, but, well, it's going to be about the Cubs this week. The Giants are in last place in the National League West.
11.5 games out of first going into play today. 12 games under 500. It's a very old San Francisco Giants ball club. You have to wonder if they're not going to start their fire sale at some point early in the second half.
Leadoff single for Mike Lamb. Let's meet today's Celebrity Bat Kids, brought to you by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. 14-year-old Kate Klein from Carroll Stream, Illinois, and Josh Boyajian from Berwyn. Having a great day here at Wrigley thanks to our friends at Walgreens. Getting autographs from Cubs players, including Mark DeRosa. For information and official rules of the Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids Sweepstakes, go to WGNradio.com. Luke Scott playing right. Takes one off the plate. Ball one. The Astros have lost 5 straight on the road. They have the worst road record in the big leagues at 15-30. And a couple of things for the Astros looking forward. Chris Burke's going to get a pretty good look at second base, particularly on the road, where Craig Biggio will get more rest. And it sounds like Biggio will get a majority of his starts here down the stretch at home. That one cranked through the alley by Luke Scott. Lamb's going to be sent by the third base coach, Doug Mansolino. He's going to score easily, and that's going to be a double for Scott. So it's 2-0.
Boy, nice looking swing by Luke Scott, making a bid for more playing time, as you mentioned, at second base. Just perfectly splits that gap in right center field. Mike Lamb off on contact. He knew where the defenders were playing, knew that ball was going to split the gap, and scored easily without a play at home plate. Hey, we talk about it all the time. You show up at the ballpark to see something you've never seen before, and I think this is something I've never seen before. Craig Biggio missing 2 starts in a row. Guy is as regular as clockwork.
Well, the Astros have a lot of fans who want to see the latest member of the 3,000 hit club play at home. So they're going to try to map out a schedule where most of his off days are away from Minute Maid Park. The other issue is, if they make some deals, maybe deal away a veteran or 2, one of the things they would like to get in return is a catcher who would succeed Brad Ausmus. They're not pushing Ausmus out the door, but I think the realization is that you know, at some point they're going to have or need somebody to take a majority of the starts behind the plate. He's been splitting time with Eric Munson. Pitch, bouncer up the middle and through. And Brad Ausmus knocks in a run. 3-zip.
That's unfortunate. 2 of the RBI hits for the Astros already in this ball game have been seemingly harmless ground balls back up the middle of the field. Lance Berkman in the first inning with a grounder up the middle of the field on a sinker ball. Once again right here, Brad Ausmus pounds that sinker into the ground but finds a hole up the middle of the field.
So Larry Rothschild out to chat with Marquis and Soto. We mentioned the 3,000 hit club. Craig Biggio on a night in which he had 5 hits back in late June against Colorado. Actually was thrown out trying to stretch the single into the double. 27th member of the 3,000 hit club. And he literally pulled Jeff Bagwell out onto the field to share in his glory. Backhanded by Lee as Wandy Rodriguez picks up a sac bunt. 3-4 on the putout.
There's no doubt Craig Biggio is one of those guys that doesn't really know what to do with himself when he's not playing. Just a maximum effort every day kind of a guy. A lot of people don't remember that Craig Biggio's major league career started as a catcher. No surprise he's got 3,000 hits. You know how those catchers are.
That's right.
I think that was a wise move to get him out from behind the plate. He may have had a very good career as a catcher. I don't think he would have played nearly this long. I don't think he would have had close to the opportunity to amass 3,000 hits if he was still a catcher.
Low on Burke. Runner at second. 2 in. Yeah, the career arc defensively for Biggio is rather unique. Catcher, second base, outfield, including center, and then back to second. So he kept getting farther away from home plate before coming back to the infield.
And if Phil Garner asked him to go behind the plate, I guarantee you he would strap that gear on in a second.
I wonder if he'll do it once again before he retires, just for fun. Almost hit him. And Jason trying to settle down. Astros already getting 3 against him. And the Cubs facing one of the hottest pitchers in the league, as Wandy Rodriguez now has 17 consecutive scoreless innings. Ball 4. We might see some early action out in the bullpen. I see one of the bullpen catchers, Corey Miller, and now he's taking a seat.
You've had some deep outings from your starting pitchers recently, so should Jason Marquis continue to struggle in the early going here, I agree with you. I don't think Lou would hesitate to pull the plug and go to that bullpen early in the ball game.
There was some thought that the Cubs would add an arm in the bullpen today, but because they have gotten those deep starts, able to hold off at least for one day. The 0-1 to Pence, big swing, couldn't find it. Nothing in 2.
You know, the decision to pull the plug on your own starting pitcher early in a ball game has as much to do with who he's pitching against on a given day than how he's actually doing. I mean, Jason Marquis obviously not on top of his game in the early going here, but they're facing a pitcher who has been in a real hot streak his last couple of starts. You cannot afford to fall too far behind in the game and expect to come back against Wandy Rodriguez. Certainly it's possible, but given recent history, Wandy Rodriguez is probably the hottest pitcher on this Astros staff.
Jason has a sign from Soto. And coming back on a 1-2 pitch. Lifted shallow right. DeRosa with a beat on it. Still coming over. He has it. And 2 outs in the inning. You know, it was pointed out to me the other day, and these are the kinds of things that you almost don't notice because he's never bad at it. But Mark DeRosa, whatever position he plays, all of his throws seem to be right on the money. He just nailed the cutoff man from right field. The pitch to Lance Berkman is outside. You usually notice a guy's arm when he makes bad throws. I might not have the strongest arm in the league, but what they tell you as far as your outfield play, just hit the cutoff man. If you can do that,
yeah,
you're good.
Get rid of it quickly and hit the cutoff man.
I don't know if you can think of an example, but I know there have been guys who you would rate them on the arm chart and say below average, but always hit the cutoff guy. And there are guys who have some of the stronger arms in baseball and never hit the cutoff guy.
Yeah, but they throw it really high up the backstop. Yeah, it doesn't really do a lot of good to have a strong throwing arm if you're not accurate, and it takes you a long time to unload your throw. Well, we talk about it a lot. A base runner that gets a base hit into left field, as he's running to first base, at some point he has to take his eye off the play on the field, look at first base so he can make sure he hits it as he makes his turn. Well, if that outfielder can get the ball in the air while he's looking down at the base, the base runner doesn't know if it's a strong throw, if it's a weak throw, if it's accurate, if it's offline. Just get rid of it quickly, get it back towards your target, and make that runner stop at first base.
Well, that guy right there has been as good as any outfielder in the big leagues the last 2 years in nailing advancing runners. 10 outfield assists already. 3 and 2 on Berkman. as Marquis tries to get out of this inning with limited damage. And we've seen teams take fewer chances against Soriano over the last few weeks. Practicing his stroke.
You never see a catcher do that. Only the outfielders looking at their shadow out there in the grass, working on their swing. A lot of downtime between pitches for an outfielder.
3-2. The runners will take off. There they go. Another gapper. This time Berkman finds right center. And the Astros are going to get 2 more. As Osmus followed by Burke. And it's 5-0. Well, the Astros offense had been a lot better just before the break. But just 3 runs in the first 2 games of this series. They have played at 5 already.
I mentioned his first base hit to drive home a run in the first inning was just a ground ball up the middle of the field on a sinker. No doubt about this one. Once again, perfectly splits that gap in right center field. Doug Manzolino, he's going to need ice on that right shoulder if this game continues at this pace.
Carlos Lee with a rocket, and it's hauled in by Terrio. That almost hit Lance Berkman on the fly. 4 runs for the Astros. It's 5-0 early. It's been a rough start for Jason Marquis, again matching up with Giovanni Soto for the first time. 5-0. Alfonso Soriano, the leadoff hitter, but in the second inning he's batting 5th in the lineup, and that's going to drop foul. Lance Berkman overran it, and Burke couldn't get there in time. So a harmless foul ball, and that gives Soriano another opportunity.
A lot of factors to deal with. Berkman looking up into the sun. He's close to the bullpen plate over there. His second baseman, Chris Burke, nowhere to be found. That's a ball the second baseman would normally call the first baseman off of, but nobody gets there.
That's a no play.
No play.
Well, Soriano making his 143rd career start as a number 5 hitter. He's mostly hit leadoff. Second on the list, 3rd. And 3rd on the list, 5th. And his OPS of 836 in this spot. Second to his 889 as a number 1 hitter. Thank you, Uncle Tim.
Nice going, Uncle Tim.
Wasn't it the wizard from what was the Monty Python movie? Was it the Holy Grail? They call me Tim. 3-2 on Soriano. A pitch by Rodriguez. Splintered bat pop up, and it'll be caught by the shortstop, Mark Loretta. I don't know if you caught the Fox broadcast yesterday, but what they do is they have the players introduce the lineups, and Rich Hill did it as Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. It was one of the funniest things I've seen all year. He nailed it.
I didn't hear a La Fonda reference, though. I thought he might talk about Kip's chick, La Fonda.
I think he mentioned that Mark DeRosa training to be a cage fighter. I haven't confirmed that. That was good stuff. And the thing is, we know about Ryan Dempster and Scott Air and Will Oman. Those guys are the comedians of the clubhouse. But when Rich Hill does it, I mean, it just came out of nowhere.
That perhaps speaks to his comfort level this year. He feels he's a little more a part of things. And kind of stepped out of character a little bit to show his humorous side yesterday. Yeah, if you were still battling to make the ball club, you probably wouldn't risk doing something like that.
It's a great point. Rodriguez with a 1-2 just off the outside corner. You know, the interesting thing when you look at the lineup today, the big topic of the pregame conversation, the lineup came out a little late. Ripped into the left field corner. DeRosa makes the turn on his way to second. It'll be a standing double. You set your lineup. The Cubs have struggled against lefties, but the problem today has been they haven't been able to stop the Astros offense. They need a lot of runs today.
Well, good quick bat there from Mark DeRosa. Fastball down and in. DeRosa, such a good low ball hitter. Finds fair territory down into that left field corner, setting it up here for Giovanni Soto, an opportunity to drive home his first run of the season.
Soto was recalled on Friday. To his second start. It was Rob Bowen yesterday. Did a great job with Ted Lilly. Well, bad news. A setback for Henry Blanco. He was very close to going out on a rehab assignment, but apparently injured his left shoulder. So hopefully it'll only be a few days before he's able to head out on a rehab assignment. Kerry Wood struck out the side in his first rehab start. It was with Mesa yesterday. Was struck out all three he faced through 14 pitches. Wade Miller will be pitching today for Peoria. Ryan Dempster is scheduled to throw a full bullpen session. So he's close to going out, and maybe Bob will only have one game in the minor leagues before he's ready to be activated. Ground ball through, base hit. Soto with the RBI. DeRosa scores. 5-1. Third career RBI for Soto.
There wasn't much, but it'll work. Looked like he got jammed a little bit by a cut fastball, able to just get it past the diving Mark Loretta into center field. And the fact that that ball was hit so slowly allows DeRosa to score easily without a play at the plate.
Snaps a string of 17 straight scoreless innings for Wandy Rodriguez. Again, his last two starts didn't give up a run. The Cubs get to him in the second inning today. Angel Pagan, high drive, deep left, and out of here. 5-3. They're right back in it. Bam.
Well, you know, Len, the big, strong hitters can hit home runs when they don't get full extension. Angel Pagan gets way out there around this ball, full extension through the baseball, great backspin, got tremendous carry to left. Our Southwest, how far did it fly? 390 feet to the back of the left field bleachers.
Well, just like that, 3 runs. Jason Marquis loved it. Cubs are down only 2.
You know, it's not unusual to see Aramis Ramirez or Derek Lee on occasion. The big guys pull their hands in close to their body and still hit the ball out of the ballpark. But for a guy like Angel Pagan, he needs to get extension, and that time he had full extension at the point of contact.
So the Cubs went 2 weeks without a home run. Soriano, 3-run shot yesterday, snapped the 10-game homerless drought. And Pagan with a 2-run blast today. All 4 of his home runs this year have been right-handed. And that's probably how he's going to bat in the starting lineup here, as Marquis dunks it into left in front of Carlos Lee. Fourth home run of the season for Angel Pagan. It was a no-doubter.
Talked about that wind blowing across from right to left. Should help balls hit in the air to left field. That one didn't need much of an assist.
Been a big offensive series for the Cubs starting pitchers. Carlos Zambrano, 2 hits, an RBI, and a run on Friday. Ted Lilly with an RBI hit yesterday. Jason Marquis 1 for 1. The bottom of the order coming through big time. 4 straight hits. Boy, what a great comeback inning for the Cubs. After Marquis gave up 4 in the top of the second, the Cubs have answered back with 3. Another one ripped into the outfield. This time a roller to Carlos Lee. The line keeps moving. First and second.
Well, it's a lot like trying to get ketchup out of a new bottle. You know, you bang on the bottom, you bang on the bottom. For his last 2 starts, opposing teams have been banging on the bottom of the ketchup bottle, and Wandy Rodriguez wouldn't give it up. Cubs finally break through, score a run on the RBI by Soto, and all of a sudden the ketchup is oozing out of the bottle.
Spilled all over the Astros uniforms.
Over the unis.
You had French fries for brunch, didn't you?
And ketchup. Lots of ketchup.
Or are you a ketchup on the eggs kind of guy?
I'm more a salsa on the eggs kind of a guy. Yeah.
The 0-1 to Fontenot. Back to the pitcher, Rodriguez. He bundles it. He'll get it out at first. And another break for the Cubs. That's not a double play ball, but Rodriguez would have gotten it out at second. Here's Derek Lee. Will he get a chance? I have to think so because Ramirez is on deck.
Just cued that breaking ball right off the end of the bat. That appeared to be a potential double play, but Rodriguez lost the handle as he spun around to face second base. It came loose right there, you could see. And does get the out at first, but an opportunity for D. Lee with a couple runners in scoring position.
Pitch to Lee, moves him off the plate. Well, in certain stretches, you don't throw anything close to the plate against Derek Lee. Did pick up an infield hit his first time. A little bit cold on the last road trip, and you have Ramirez on deck, who went 3 for 4 yesterday. High drive, Derek Lee sending Carlos Lee back. 3-run shot, 6-5. Oh man, 6 runs in the second. They can do no wrong. His first since June 3rd.
And these fans here at Wrigley Field have just been waiting for something to get excited about here today. A rough start by Jason Marquis. And the offense gets the crowd into the ball game here in the second inning.
Unbelievable. 6 runs to take the lead. Loretta will spin and throw, but Willie hit number 7 in the inning.
Dealey looked like he was pretty sure he got all of that when Carlos Lee chased it back to the corner there by the well, thinking he might have had a play on Southwest. How far did it fly on Derek Lee's home run? 364 feet. Far enough to bring home a couple of teammates.
Soriano, the 10th hitter of the inning. Well, I don't know if you believe in mojo, momentum, whatever you want to call it, but the Cubs have it. Luke Scott, right center, took a look at Hunter Pence, able to find the ball, but the Cubs have the lead. They didn't about 15 minutes ago. In fact, they were being shut out 5-0. But 10 batters later, 2 home runs later, it's now 6-5 Cubs. Really picking him up today. He was a big part of it. Had a single and scored on the Derek Lee 3-run homer. Pagan with a 2-run shot. And then a few batters later, Derek Lee with his first home run in well over a month. And the Cubs are messing with Texas.
Yeah, for a starting pitcher who has struggled through 2 innings, this is like a mulligan, a do-over. Your offense puts 6 runs on the board to give you a lead. Now you have an opportunity to go back out there and, in effect, start this ball game over again.
Mark Loretta in the air to right. DeRosa with a catch. Well, this is that shutdown inning we talk so much about. You grab that momentum, you want your pitcher to have a nice 8-pitch 1-2-3 inning. Oh, that home run had to feel extra good for Derek Lee. When we sit here on July 15th. His last blast was June 3rd. And I think all of his home runs have been at home. Past Derek foul. .126 at bats in between home runs for Derek. I think more than anything, he probably would just rather he doesn't get asked about the lack of home runs. It's been a topic of conversation, and he hasn't shied away from it.
You know, the topic after the ball game today was, do you feel like you have your home run stroke back? Well, I did in that at bat. I think if players had their druthers, they wouldn't even talk about the game. Just show up and play it and go home at the end of the day. The more you talk about it, the more you try to analyze why things happen, either in a positive way or a negative way, well, the tougher it is to go out there and do your job.
No room for Soto. Yeah, just let us kind of yak on and on for 3 hours.
You can analyze and overanalyze. You just go play the game.
Mike Lamb deep to right. And a home run. 6-6. Starting to look like one of those crazy days. We're only in the 3rd inning.
Kind of an odd looking swing by Lamb. It almost looked like he was moving his feet to get out of the way of that inside sinker and just jerk that ball on a line into the well area out there in right field. A tremendously quick swing generated an awful lot of power just into the front row.
First career home run for Lamb in this park. And we're going to see some early action in the Cubs pen. Way outside on Luke Scott. Sean Gallagher getting ready quickly. Now, as a manager, Bob, in this spot, are you more apt to pull Marquis in a close game, or does it matter? I mean, if it were 6-0, would Gallagher have been up?
If the Cubs were ahead 6-0, absolutely not. You would let Jason Marquis try to continue to work through his problems, but given the fact the Cubs were way behind in this ball game, made that furious run there in the second inning to take a lead, now you give it right back once again. It'll be an easy play for Soto. I think you have to have a short leash at this point. You try to give your veteran guy every opportunity to right the ship, but by the same token, you're not sure if you're going to be able to break through against Wandy Rodriguez again the rest of the ball game the way they did in the second inning. And to answer your question, I think you give him a little bit of wiggle room, but not as much as you might if you had a big lead in this game.
And there are times when you're down big this early where you don't want your starter to take on too much water with the earned run average. And you don't concede the game, but you say, look, just give me another inning, just save the bullpen a little bit today. But remember, Marquis last year twice gave up double digits in runs as Tony La Russa needed him to stay out there, and that really killed his earned run average. So 6-6 in the third. Chopper hit by Ausmus. Ryan Theriot over to Derek Lee. Lamb ties it with a home run. Middle of the third, 6-6. The Cubs take on the Giants this Wednesday, July 18th at 1:20. Be sure to arrive early and be one of the first 10,000 adults to receive a Cubs tote bag compliments of Whole Foods Market. Whole Foods Market has 10 Chicago area locations, with their newest store opening at Halstead and Waveland on July 25th. Whole Foods Market is proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs. DeRosa leading off. In the bottom of the third, the Cubs sent 10 to the plate in the second to take a 6-5 lead. Mike Lamb just tied it with a solo home run. Wade Miller on the mound for Peoria as the Chiefs take on Quad Cities, a Cardinals affiliate. 12 pitches in the first inning, 9 strikes, throwing 87 to 89. He struck out the side.
That sounds a little more like the velocity the Cubs are looking for from Wade Miller. He's not an overpowering type pitcher, but he just needs to have enough fastball to make his curveball and his off-speed pitches more effective.
Thanks to our good friend Nathan Believa, the voice of the Peoria Chiefs, for giving us that update. Go Cubs. DeRosa hits it foul to the right. Cliff Floyd wouldn't have been in the lineup today against the lefty anyway, but the left shoulder strain yesterday keeping him out maybe just today. Could be back in the next couple of days. I doubt we would see Cliff even as a pinch hitter. Suffered the injury on the first play of the game yesterday, diving for that ball in right. He had received a cortisone shot in his right elbow and in his left shoulder to start the All-Star break. The 3-2 from Rodriguez is high, and DeRosa with a leadoff walk.
A little sinking pop-up down the right field line against Ted Lilly yesterday. Wind kind of pushing it back toward the infield clip with a great effort, but you can see he gets that left arm extended, lands on the left elbow, and felt some discomfort in his left shoulder.
And depending on how long he is out, we could see Darrell Ward get another start or two in right. He did a nice job on the last road trip. always ready to pinch hit.
Batting gloves on, helmet nearby, bat in hand, just in case.
Now what's he doing? Is he looking for cracks, nicks,
little dings in the bat? Yeah, occasionally it gets thrown in and out of the bat rack, thrown in the bat bag on the road trips. Occasionally it'll get little dings and scrapes in it, and just making sure everything is where he wants it to be.
Tapping it on the floor. Soto just took a called third, 1 out. Here's Pagan. Or Pagan after the 2-run shot. I want to say hi to Frank Alex, 83 years old, a lifelong Cubs fan, watching from the intensive care unit at Health Park Hospital in Fort Myers, Florida today. And great to have Andrew McAllister from San Antonio, Texas here at the ballpark this weekend. He was here yesterday and again today. I guess his dad is an Astros fan. They've had a pretty good rivalry going on. Great to have Andrew here. It's a foul ball. I'm sure this made him feel a whole lot better.
First pitch he saw in the ball game ends up in the bleachers in left field. He's a 2-run shot for Angel Pagan, his 4th of the year. 11th birthday for Alyssa Palmer today. Happy birthday, Alyssa. Also, Chad Boy wants to wish Pinky a happy birthday. So there you go.
All right, from group from Happy Days is here. Is Leather here too?
Leather Tuscadero
along with Chachi. You know, Joni loves Chachi. Pinky and Leather Tuscadero. Three and 1 on Pagan. Mr. and Mrs. C both have performed the 7th inning stretch here. Tom Bosley and Marion Ross. Fly into center for Hunter Pence. Isn't it amazing how much stuff can just sit in your brain that really is about as useless as it comes?
Pretty much, yeah. Most of the stuff that sits in there is useless.
Potsy, Ralph Malph. And I could go on and on. I haven't seen that show in 15 years. Arnold.
Sunday, Monday, happy day.
Yeah. Anson Williams, Donnie Most. Just go on and on and on. Character names, actor names. One strike on Jason Marquis. Runner at first. The leadoff walk to DeRosa, but he hasn't moved. Speaking of Happy Days, which was set in Milwaukee, it's 1-1 there. Rockies and the Brewers. Brewers just tied it in the 5th. Aaron Cook, Jeff Suppan on the mound. Rodriguez wanted that one.
He posed on it for quite a while. Normally that would be a called 3rd strike, especially with the pitcher at the plate. Tony Randazzo didn't see it that way. Jason Marquis wisely decides not to take the same pitch again. He's got a piece of that one, fouled it on the 3rd base side. Billy and Mary Ann in Chicago want to wish Uncle Bob get well wishes. Hope you're back on your feet soon, Uncle Bob.
Rodriguez with a check on the runner. As a sign from Ausmus. Another throw. DeRosa was about 5 inches off first base.
And leaning back toward the bag. Got a real good read on Wandy Rodriguez. I mentioned before, he doesn't have a great pickoff move. He can be a little slow unloading the ball to home plate.
Right to Berkman. A couple of steps to first base, and the inning is over. Cubs strand 1. We are tied after 3.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Your official summer baseball station is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Nicely done. 4th inning. 6-6. Great day to be out in the sun. Big swing and a miss by Wandy Rodriguez. Now he's a switch hitter. But he's batting right-handed against Jason Marquis, so I think only occasionally.
Does he know he's a switch hitter?
There've been a few pitchers, Vicente Padilla, just, you know, take it game by game, at bat by at bat. Toward right and down. So Rodriguez with a hit. This Thursday, the Cubs take on the Giants at 1:20. Kids get to the ballpark early. The first 6,000 children 13 and younger will receive an exclusive Chicago Cubs plush bear from Build-A-Bear Workshop. Compliments of Bank of America. That's 8 hits now for both teams. Off the end of the bat, Marquis will get it to Terrio. Easy turn, double play.
About as easy a double play as you'll have as a pitcher. A one-hopper right back to the mound. He was still on the dirt area of the mound when he caught that ball. Good feed to Ryan Terrio, leading him across the bag at second. Makes it an easy relay on to first to complete the double play.
By the way, Wandy Rodriguez as a lefty this year is 0 for 9 at batting right-handed. Now 5 for 19. You know what, we'll ask Jim DeShays and Bill Brown over here next door and see if that, you know, if he's made a big decision just to stop switch hitting.
Start calling him the former switch hitter, Wandy Rodriguez.
2-0 on Pence. A double and a flyout. Scored a run in the first. Now 2-1. Two. You know, over breakfast today, we were talking about stats and had a nice conversation with Bob Rosenberg, the official scorer here at Wrigley Field. And you just at the end said, you know what? It's all about wins and losses. And this is one of those days where the starting pitchers, their earned run averages are going to go way up. But all they can smell is, I can get a win today. Doesn't matter how many runs you give up. You may give up 9 today and win. That's all that matters.
Well, if we stop keeping all the stats that we do, it would put a lot of people out of business. So we'll continue to keep track of every little statistic involved in this game. But the bottom line is wins and losses. And that's the one thing a starting pitcher really can't control. All he can control is his effort. And trying to throw strikes, trying to execute good pitches. After that, it's pretty much out of a starting pitcher's hands.
Rothschild on the wireless phone calling down to the bullpen. And Gallagher's going to get up again. Cubs the first team to have wireless technology from bullpen to dugout here at Wrigley Field, as Pence got a good jump. Save. Boy, Soto with 2 excellent throws, with the Astros 2 for 2 in stolen bases. comes Lou. We'll see. Piniella and Gibson have a little conversation.
Well, once again, it looked like the ball beat Pence to second base. However, I think Ryan Theriot caught that ball toward the inside of the infield a little too much and then had to sweep the tag back to the base. If he keeps his glove closer to the base and lets the ball travel, they probably have him easily at second base. We'll, of course, have the opportunity to look at a replay here. Watch where Theriot catches the ball. Actually, that's right on him. I thought with the initial look that Theriot caught the ball up in front of the bag and then had to reach back with the tag, but Soto puts that ball right on the money.
So Lou going to stay out there, 2 for 1. He argues with the umpire and now makes a mound visit.
Really, as a middle infielder, if you catch a perfect throw from the catcher, and this is a perfect throw from Giovanni Soto, catch the ball and pull the glove out of there as that runner goes into his slide. Just give every indication that you've applied the tag. The throw was right there in front of the base. And the longer you hold that tag in there and make it appear that you're trying to find the runner, the better chance that umpire is going to call the guy safe.
Two and 0 on Berkman. Two and 1. Well, earlier Alan Trammell in the dugout was talking with Mike Fontenot about snapping that tag. Tram should know a thing or two. He did it for 2 decades. One of the great shortstops in the history of the game.
Oh, and Tram knew all the tricks down there at second base as well. On those little short hop throws from the catcher where normally the infielder will go from low to high. You come up with the short hop. Tram was one of those guys that had the ability to get his glove above the ball and catch it on the way down so he could get that tag down quickly in front of the base.
Marquis flirting with danger now, facing Carlos Lee, tied for the National League lead in RBIs. Back-to-back walks in front of Lee with 2 outs. These are the really tough decisions. And the only guy up currently in the bullpen is Scott Air, but we saw Gallagher earlier. And he's going to let Marquis face Lee. Lined and caught. Ramirez with a catch. Inning over. Boy, that saved at least 1. And also keeps Jason Marquis in the ballgame. Ripped down the line. Aramis lays out, makes the catch, and we're still tied. Ryan Theriot, first pitch swinging. Deep left center, and the Cubs lead. Once again, a home run. It's now 7-6. That's 3 home runs today for the Cubs, 4 of their last 2 games. You know what, Theriot, I guess he feels like if he's going to lead off for Alfonso Soriano, he has to show some power.
What home run drought. Coming in bunches here today. Ryan Theriot, the latest to get on the bandwagon, gets out in front. Good elevation on that pitch. Rode it right out of here to left field.
7-6.
You're going to wear out your abacus today. A lot of points scored already in this ball game. We're only in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Second of the year for Theriot. Second hit of the day. Fisted foul by Fontenot.
Fastball right down Southport. No doubt about it. Or Southwest, how far did it fly? 372 feet as Mike Fontenot will ground to Berkman at first base, no problem.
Here's D. Lee.
The ketchup's out of the bottle.
I love the analogy. Low and away. By the way, I did find out Wandy Rodriguez has given up switch hitting. So now you know. And Scott Air continues to loosen in the Cubs bullpen. And while Marquis did get out of the top of the fourth inning, it was a line shot out, a diving stab by Aramis Ramirez to end the threat. Borkowski on one side, Air on the other. There's a walk. Lee's been on all three times. Scrap iron, Phil Garner. They've been a great second half club the last few years under Garner. Right now 39 and 52, 11 and a half out. They're in fifth.
Not sure if this is a stalling tactic by Brad Ausmus to give Borkowski a few more warm-up pitches down there in the bullpen, or whether he had a word of advice for Wandy Rodriguez. But Phil Garner with 1 foot up on the steps over there in that first base dugout. He looks like he's about ready to make a trip to the mound. Yep. Just giving that right-handed reliever a few extra warm-up pitches down in the bullpen.
So it'll be Dave Borkowski, a right-hander, coming in to face Aramis Ramirez. Terrio with a go-ahead homer at 7-6. On the north side as the Cubs go for the sweep. They haven't swept the Astros in a home 3-game series since 1984. Right-hander Dave Borkowski on to face Aramis Ramirez. Lee the runner at first, and Borkowski with a throw over there. Dave Borkowski, not to be confused with Joe Borowski. Maybe Dave would tell you he's more of a strikeout pitcher than the former Cub because he has an extra K in his last name.
Well, Borkowski is averaging a hit an inning pitched and just about a strikeout per inning pitched.
Fouled back to the netting. Former Tiger and Oriole. Grew up in the Detroit suburbs. Now set. And throw to first. Tough loss for Borkowski to the Cubs last year on August 15th in Houston. You might remember this one. He went 6 innings in relief, lost in the 18th on a Matt Merton 2-run single. 6 innings, 2 runs. Last guy out of their bullpen that night threw 70 pitches. The next day we saw Ryan O'Malley make his major league debut. Caught by Borkowski in a double play. Ramirez hit a rocket right back to the pitcher. He turns it into a 1-3 twin killing, 7-6. Ryan Terrio with a go-ahead leadoff home run in the 4th. And it's 7-6. This game will be decided by the bullpens. Left-hander Scott Air in relief of Jason Marquis, who really got cuffed around 4 innings, 6 runs, 8 hits. And can't get a win because he could not get through 5. Two strikes on Mark Loretta. The newly configured lineup against left-handed starters did the job against Wandy Rodriguez. That's one of those get-off-me ball pitches, and Loretta grounds out.
Ramos Ramirez with a rocket line drive off his bat. Dave Borkowski just into the ball game, fields his position well, throws on to first base where they have Derek Lee doubled off for an inning-ending double play. Can't hit it much harder than that.
Lamb tied it with a home run his last time up. 2 for 2 on the day with 2 runs.
Hey, Len, another big birthday today. Dan and Janine Grand, along with grandpas Dom Pugliani and Tom Grand, want to wish a happy birthday to 1-year-old Dan Grand today. Having a good day at the ballpark. Got his blue eyes with his blue hat and his blue shirt. All matches.
Fontenot drifting over and making the catch.
You know, Len, we talked about the tags at second base. A trick slide by Berkman earlier in the ballgame, a very close play later on, and Alan Trammell immediately gets Mike Fontenot talking about just put the tag down there and pull the glove out. Don't continue to try to tag the runner. And once again here with Ryan Theriot this time, just put the tag down, pull the glove out. Don't give that umpire any reason to think you've missed the tag. Just pull the glove out of there. Immediate feedback. You really have to love that, rather than wait till after the ball game or before the game tomorrow when they're doing their infield drills. Take care of it right away while it's still fresh in their minds.
Great work by our crew to get those shots. The teaching never stops, does it?
Never. Even with a veteran ball club, there are things guys can learn, little edges that you can take advantage of just to give yourself the slightest advantage out there. And a lot of times that'll make the difference in getting the call you're looking for or digging a tough hole for your pitcher.
In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Well, Scott Air pitching in a 1-run ball game. Even though we're in the 5th inning, these are big outs. Retired the first 2 of the frame. We've said it before, the best way to get back in big spots is to put up some zeros. And he's done that the last 2 times out on the last road trip. Brad Ausmus would hit next if Scott can get on. Foul tip, strike 2, full count.
Well, you know, Len, I think in a lot of respects the toughest thing for Scott Air this season has been the fact that this is a role he's not familiar with. He was a guy that was used to getting the ball 4 or 5 days a week, pitching regularly. Never really gave it a second thought, but now he's had a lot of time to sit between appearances, think about his next opportunity to go out there. And that's not an easy thing to do when you're used to being a competitive pitcher, getting out there regularly, not thinking about your mechanics. You don't really think about your stuff. You don't even really think about the opposing hitter. You just execute your pitches on a daily basis. Now all of a sudden you've got 5, 6, 8, 9 days between outings to try to analyze and overanalyze your own delivery, and sometimes you can get a little bit too much into your own head.
That's ball 4. So Luke Scott will wipe the dust off and head down to first.
Well, if you're going to miss with a purpose. Certainly that's not what Scott Air had in mind right there, but it may come back to serve him well in future at bats against Luke Scott. mean, he hit the ground, but it was after the ball was already in Giovanni Soto's glove. Fortunately, that pitch wasn't further inside.
Here's Ausmus. Brad Ausmus sitting on 99 career stolen bases. Third all-time in putouts by a catcher. Coming in today, 11,758.
It just means he's caught a lot of strikeout pitchers over the course of his career as Marmol begins to crank it up in that Cubs bullpen. Of course, a catcher gets a put out on pop foul ball if he happens to catch it, or a play at the plate when he applies a tag, or a forced play at the plate, but most of a catcher's putouts come on strike threes.
2-0 on the hitter, so Larry Rothschild coming out. You see Marmol up in the 5th inning. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Get your backstage pass to the tears, the talents, and the outtakes, including never-before-seen footage. American Idol Rewind, tonight at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
I think the Cubs are going to make a move before tomorrow night. With the 4-inning start by Jason Marquis, you see one of your late-inning pitchers already up in the bullpen. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the Cubs add to their relief corps prior to that series against the Giants. Still a long way to go today. We're going to have to use, Bob, just about everybody.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the fact that Cubs have been carrying that third catcher for the past few days, really a luxury to have. We've talked about this in the past. And with the Diamondbacks, there were times we would carry the third catcher with the sole purpose of using that spot for a pinch hitter. Opposing managers rarely anticipate that you're going to pinch hit for somebody in the 6th or 7th hole in the lineup. And when those opportunities would arise, because we had the third catcher on the roster, we felt comfortable using a pinch hitter for our starting catcher as early as the 4th or 5th inning of a ball game if we felt that was an opportunity to score runs. And with Cliff Floyd injured today, the bench is a little short already, so not as easy to drop in pinch hitters early in the game as you might normally do if you had a full complement of healthy players on the bench.
Scott had taken off on the previous pitch. It was fouled away by Ausmus. Borkowski on deck. I don't think there's any chance he's going to hit, even if that spot comes up. They do have more action in their pen. Matt Albers was up. Foul off. Still 2-2. There's Albers. Air trying to put away Brad Ausmus. This battle of veterans. 7-6 Cubs in the 5th. The kick and the pitch. That one handcuffs Soto. Marmol really cranking it up in the pen. And he's ready if needed. Lou wants Air to get out of it right here. It's one of those days where you want every reliever to give you at least one full inning. Ground ball toward the hole. Diving stop. Terrio. He will throw to first. It's tardy and an infield hit for Ausmus. But he does keep Scott at second base. That slow roller, there's a good chance Scott tries to get to third if it gets through.
And I believe even if Ryan Terrio came up and immediately went to first base, they were probably not going to get Brad Ausmus over there. throw was well late. Osmus already out of your picture. Scott was in movement on the pitch right there. No play at second base. And by the time Terrio regroups and fires to first, it's too late.
And we're going to see a double switch. How about this? Lou is going to use Carlos Marmol in the 5th inning. Torres is going to come in. Fontenot will come out. Terrio to second. We'll sort it all out when we come back. Summary, 7-6 in the 5th. Berkman with a big day. Lamb with a home run. And home runs today. Terrio, Lee, Pagan for the Cubs. The latest by Terrio, giving them the lead. Get performances, save gas. Test drive a new Civic at your Honda dealer today. Carlos Marmol, ball 1 on Craig Biggio, the pinch hitter. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. We've seen Carlos mainly in the 7th and the 8th. He's setting up for Bob Howry. But needed in the 5th. Ground ball by Biggio. Foul. Other changes. Cesar Torres comes into play short. He'll hit 9th in the order. Fontenot out, so Marmol bats 2nd. And Ryan Terrio moving from short to 2nd. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed at a nasty slider. 1-2. Well, we'll hear from Lou after the game about why he brought Marmol in as early as he did. And just kind of speculating. It may be that he feels like this game right now, even though it's the 5th, this is a huge part of the game, and getting Marmol to strike out Biggio. Really hoping the Cubs can pull away late. He doesn't have to use his setup guy because he's already in there. 7-6. Hey, great to see a big group from Chevrolet here today, including Mark Scarpelli, new chairman of the Chicago Automobile Trade Association. Guys, thanks for all you do for Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. Well, the 10th inning show following the game today, 7-6. Northsiders with a lead. And Alfonso Soriano hitting 5th today, but Bobby's going to lead off his 2nd inning. It's funny how that works. Matt Albers now on for the Astros.
Yeah, the big reason Alfonso Soriano likes to hit first is because he knows he's going to get an at-bat in the 1st inning of the ball game. In that 5 spot, you're not always guaranteed to get that at-bat in the 1st, and that was the case today with Aramis Ramirez making the 3rd out of the bottom half of the 1st inning. So Soriano led off the 2nd, now leads off here again in the 5th.
Grounded foul into the home dugout. Hey, get well wishes to Bill Harriet Sr. watching the game today in a hospital in St. Joe's, Michigan. And we hope you feel better and hope to see you at the park real soon, Bill. Albers with an 0-1. Soriano missed it. Bob, I want to get back to the Carlos Marmol coming in the 5th inning. You kind of feel like the game right now is in the balance, and I think Lou just decided, look, I've got to put my best guys in, even though they're out of their comfort zone as far as what inning. But games can be decided in the 5th and the 6th.
Well, really, that's where a manager's feel comes into play. Lou told us earlier this year he's a big believer in the stats. The stats don't lie, but there are those ball games where you have to trust your own instincts. And Lou's been around the game long enough, and he's seen a lot of ball games just like this, where both offenses have busted out early in the game. And at some point, you want to put a tourniquet on that other team. You want to stop them from scoring because you feel like your team can maintain this lead and maybe even add on to this lead. So rather than wait until the 7th or 8th inning, he's going to drop Marmol in there in the 5th and hope the Cubs will be able to hang on.
Soriano now 0 for 3 after the ground out to the pitcher. And Cub fans, don't forget to check out our baseball blog on WGN-TV.com. On the blog today, I have a post about the Barry Bonds show hitting town tomorrow. Game notes from our friends at Stats Inc. and much more, all on WGN-TV.com. Click on the link for Lennon Bob's blog. DeRosa hits it foul, out of play to the right. We will record a new podcast after the game today. So that will be up by tomorrow. As always, check it out. Click, download, and enjoy. That's our mantra.
Yeah, this might be one of our last podcasts from the booth. The studios are very near completed over there. The moving van started hauling all the equipment over there necessary to put that podcast on the air. And once we get all set up and everything plugged in and hooked up together, we'll move to our new studios.
Looking forward to the big open house. Caught by Pence. Scary moment for the Astros out there in right center.
Pence calling for it, has his arms up. He does everything a center fielder is supposed to do. And at the very last instant, Luke Scott gives way to his rookie center fielder.
Nothing in one on Soto. Saw a brief collision out in left center between Soriano and Jones Friday. And the Astros know about collisions, as Adam Everett went to the disabled list with a broken leg as he banged into Carlos Lee in shallow left field. I've talked to Ryan Theriot about that, and he said you really have to know who's in the outfield, and certain guys are going to keep going and other guys won't. It's that nonverbal communication. And you know what? It didn't actually look as bad as it was, but remember how big Carlos Lee is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, just bad timing there. You caught Adam Everett with his right foot planted firmly in the grass. All of his weight was on that right foot. Just at the instant, Carlos Lee came sliding into him, and there was just no give there at all. And that's kind of the way you teach it on those tweeners. It's tough to teach something like that. Certainly, it's tough to practice it, but you tell the outfielder to go to the ground, slide into that play, and ideally when you hit that infielder, you just flip his legs out from under him. Maybe he gets the wind knocked out of him, but as I said, unfortunately on that play, Adam Everett had his right foot planted firmly in the grass out there in shallow left field.
A 2-out walk giving Pagan an opportunity. Angel will bat left-handed for the first time. The interesting thing about the double switch is it gave the Cubs only 2 extra batters. Is Torres batting 9th in the pitcher spot, then Theriot, then Carlos Marmol in the 2-hole. Gobbled up by Berkman, and that's the inning. Cubs still lead 7-6 as we move to the 6th. As we check out the Cubs minor league report, Felix PA, Matt Merton with home runs for AAA Iowa. Yesterday, Eric Patterson, 3 hits. And Kerry Wood again, and Mesa struck out all 3 he faced. We have a final line now on Wade Miller. Pitching with single-A Peoria, 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks. He struck out 5 and threw 39 pitches as they play Quad Cities. Line foul off the facing of the upper deck. Caroms into the front row, and a nice catch by a Cub fan. Two and one on Burke. Up and in, 3-1. The Kerry Wood Strike Zone Celebrity Bowling Tournament coming up a week from today at 10-Pin Bowling Lounge. 330 North State Street. And the proceeds benefiting Project 3000. For more information, it's kerrywoodstrikezone.com if you want to check out the big auction. An official autographed urinal from the Cubs clubhouse is up for bid. Dinner for four at Harry Carey's with Lou Piniella. Bat boy, bat girl for a day at Wrigley. All kinds of good stuff. That'll be for next season. Is Torres with a catch and foul ground. Jeff Garland will be on hand for the big bowling tournament. He's here today. Actor and comedian will handle our seventh inning stretch duties.
We'll have to find out what kind of a bowler Jeff is. See how we're going to handicap that whole event.
Slider strike. That was a knee buckler on Hunter Pence. Another one. Boy, those legs were a little wobbly in the first two pitches. Frustrated right now. He's hit two balls very hard his last two at bats and is lined out both times. Berkman 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. And he's reached base 4 times. Time now to have a ball with our friends at the Illinois Lottery. Jeff Garland of Curb Your Enthusiasm fame, throwing out or maybe handing the first pitch to Sean Gallagher.
He's got great command from 8 feet away.
So we'll have to ask him if he plays golf from the red tees. Will Oman has grabbed a baseball. Jason Marquis went 4. Play by Lee. Air 2/3 of an inning. And now Carlos Marmol's gone 1 full inning. And facing Carlos Lee with 2 outs. 2-0.
We'd like to see this from the young catcher. Goes out to talk to a young pitcher on the mound. Soto's seen plenty of Carlos Marmol. He knows when things start to go awry exactly what's wrong. Looked like Marmol's really spinning off the mound out there, falling off to the first base side. Try to get him a little more toward the target.
Fastball strike. 2-1. Big rip. 2-2. High in the air, Soriano. Under it. Out number 3. 5.5 in the books. Cubs 7, Astros 6. Seven to 6 Cubs. Cesar's Torres getting his first at bat. Came in as part of the double switch in the 5th. He got the start yesterday, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Batted second. Well, Carlos Marmol has thrown 23 pitches in his inning and a third. And he's due up third in this inning. So he might get a chance to pitch in the 7th.
Which would further reinforce your point about the possibility of the Cubs making a roster move to add another pitcher. If you extend Carlos Marmol for another inning, which, you know, it's not out of the question, and I think it's probably the right thing to do if the situation allows him to go back out there for one more inning, but you'd have to believe he would be unavailable tomorrow.
Ground ball to second base. Chris Burke will throw to Berkman. If Marmol does bat, it'll be his second AB in this series. And 0 for 1 on Friday. This Friday, Ballpark Franks Day at Wrigley Field. The first 10,000 fans will get a Cubs t-shirt. Compliments of Ballpark Franks, the official hot dog of the Chicago Cubs. Don't miss any of the action as the Cubs take on the Arizona Diamondbacks at 1:20. Right now, the difference, Ryan Terrio's leadoff homer in the 4th. Swung on and missed. Second inning of work for Matt Albers. That's low.
As Marmol takes his swings in the on-deck circle, Will Oman cranking it up down in the Cubs bullpen once again. It's not out of the question that Carlos Marmol could take the at-bat and then not go back out to the mound. Talked about Lou's bench being a little bit short today.
Called third.
Looks like Marmol is going to hit here. Whether he takes the ball to go back out to the mound for the next half of the inning remains to be seen. You look at Lou's bench today. Cliff Floyd, we mentioned the sore left shoulder. Not sure of his availability in the game. You also have Jock Jones, Darrell Ward available as left-handed hitters. And then the two switch hitters, both catchers, Rob Bowen and Coy Hill.
Foul pop. Berkman drifting. And it's into the seats. Lance has had doesn't look like a lot of fun over there in foul ground today. He overran a foul ball early on and didn't really seem to have a good idea of where that ball was.
Yeah, that appeared to be one of those pop-ups. We talk about it all the time. Corner infielders, corner outfielders are taught to get to the railing as quickly as possible and then make your adjustments. That time Berkman measured his steps, got over there just a hair late.
You know, the other issue, it could have been that Lou had Ullman up in case the Cubs had base runners in this inning, and he may have only said to Marmol, you're going to bat if there's nobody on with 2 outs.
Well, if Marmol's going to do any damage as a hitter, it's probably going to be on something from the middle of the plate in. He is a little bit of a bailout with that front side, the left foot, the left or the hip. Everything kind of opens up. He's looking to pull the ball into left field. Going to have trouble with pitches away like that.
Swung on and missed. Carlos did hit a home run last year. Probably will head back to the mound. We'll see. Time now for our Bud Light Band Cam, a track from Dolores O'Riordan, who's playing in town tonight. Angel Fire. Sparking the big comeback. 2-run homer as part of a 6-run second. And the former lead singer of the Cranberries, Dolores O'Riordan, in town tonight at the House of Blues. So Carlos Marmol continuing on in the 7th. The 1-0 to Mark Loretta. Slider strike, 1-1. Rubber game in Milwaukee. The Brewers leading the Rockies 4-2 in the top of the 8th. Trouble here, and it drops. Exactly what we were talking about earlier, and it looked like Pagan just got out of the way of Terrio to avoid a collision, but nobody touched the ball. So that'll be a hit for Loretta.
About as tough a play as you can have on a pop-up for a second baseman. You can see Terrio's looking right back up into the sun. He knows he's got at least one outfielder closing ground on him quickly, and this gives way at the last instant when he realizes he can't get to it. Angel Pagan runs right past the play. I talk a lot about communication. That's a tough one right there, that tweener that's not hit that high in the air.
Back-to-back lefties due up, Lamb and Scott. So Marmol will exit. Did a great job today. Will Oman coming on. Runner on. No outs. We're in the 7th. Cubs lead by 1. Lefty against lefty. Oman versus Lamb. Runner on, nobody out.
Like a cross-up right there. First pitch Will Oman delivers to Giovanni Soto. Crossed him up. He was expecting a fastball. Got a curveball. Yeah, watch how Soto reacts. He starts to go up after this pitch, and then it takes the break and comes back toward the middle of the plate. He's unable to catch the ball, but fortunately Randazzo gave him the call anyway. It was a good pitch. Giovanni just didn't receive it very well.
Bearded Will Oman. Two and 1. Maybe we'll start calling him the Hirsute 1. He's been a little bored.
Maybe.
Got a haircut. Yeah, maybe. Now growing the beard. 3 and 1. Another lefty after Lamb, Luke Scott. Chad Qualls up for the Astros. Here's the pitch. Terrio can't get it. Good effort. Well, they haven't hit him hard, but they're threatening first and second with no outs. A couple of balls feathered into right center. And the Astros in business.
Got right in on the knuckles of Mike Lamb, but he's able to muscle it out there barely over the head of Ryan Terrio. If Terrio was playing at a normal depth, he probably makes that play routinely, but he was drawn in a couple steps and a step or two closer to the bag at second in anticipation of a double play grounder. When the pop-up sailed out there over his head, he just couldn't quite get back on it.
Loretta at second, Lamb at first. Corner men in. Swing and a miss. Good slide piece from Oman.
I thought we might see a sac bunt attempt from Luke Scott right there. He has yet to put one down this season, but a lot of managers will make that determination. If you've got a left-hand hitter with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, you go ahead and give up the out, try to put down the sacrifice bunt. If it's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, you maybe let him go ahead and swing away.
Drive to right. DeRosa's back. He's on the warning track. He caught it. Both runners tag. Oh, a huge sigh of relief. To say Luke Scott just missed it's a huge understatement. And Mark DeRosa, look at that, his back almost to home plate as he hauled it in.
He just refused to take his eyes off that baseball. He could have easily got turned around and squared up toward home plate, but at some point he would have very slightly lost sight of the ball, and he did not want to do that. He knows the wind is battling. He's got the ball out of the sun. He wants to keep it there. So he just made that play with his back to the infield, reaching up over his shoulder. Nice job.
So 1 out, first base open. It's Brad Ausmus at the plate. The tying run is at third. The go-ahead run at second. Boy, if Luke Scott straightens that out at all, that one hits a building across Sheffield. And remember that wind not helping balls out to right. And I think we're waiting on a pinch runner, Eric Bruntlett. Who will run for Mark Loretta. Bruntlett will likely just stay in and play short.
I didn't notice Mark Loretta limping or doing anything unusual there as he tagged up and moved from second base to third base on that deep fly ball to right, but apparently Phil Garner saw something he didn't like.
So it's now Bruntlett at third. Lamb is the runner at second. They're going to appeal at first base. And the umpire saying that Lamb did wait when he tagged on that catch by DeRosa in right. Directing traffic from the dugout, Lou Piniella. The pitch to Brad Ausmus. Inside, ball one. 7-6 Cubs. Swing and a miss. Michael Wirtz ready if needed in the bullpen. Holman has his sign from Soto. Lined and caught. 2 down. Right at Ramirez.
Well, that's a big out right there. The Cubs are willing to concede a run for an out right there. They're playing their middle infielders back, and fortunately Ausmus lines that ball right at Aramis Ramirez. He's able to corral it. Both Astro runners are retreating to their base when that ball was hit. Holman 1 out away from escaping trouble here. He's going to have to do it against right-handed hitter, perhaps. Morgan Ensberg was announced as the pinch hitter for the Astros.
Ensberg with 3 pinch hits. 2 have gone for homers. Lou asking for the right-hander. There's only one guy up, so there should be no problem with the umpires and everybody figuring out who he actually wants. Had a little miscommunication on Friday. Wirtz against Ensberg when we come back. Michael Wirtz now pitching. He's going to face pinch hitter Morgan Ensberg. Second and third for the Astros. 2 outs, top of the 7th, and the Cubs clinging to a 1-run lead. Here we go. Low and outside. Michael gave up 2 runs in 1 inning yesterday as he closed out the ball game, and the Cubs 9-3 win. One and one.
Well, this should be a good matchup for Michael Wirtz if he can keep that slider on the outer half of the plate, spot his fastball away. Ensberg hitting out of that wide open stance. He's looking for some middle of the plate in he can pull.
Look by Wirtz. Here's 2-1. Good play by the catcher Soto.
The pitcher has to have the confidence he can bounce that pitch in the dirt if necessary. I don't believe Michael Wirtz intended to bounce that breaking ball in the dirt, but he did, and Soto made sure to keep it in front.
Kick and a 3-1. Ball 4, bases full. And it'll bring up Chris Burke, the leadoff man. This is up to Wirtz. The bullpen mound for the first time in several innings empty. Here comes Larry. Now a look at our upcoming Cubs high-definition broadcast schedule, sponsored by Comcast. Tomorrow night on WCIU Channel 26, the Cubs host the Giants at 6 o'clock. Wednesday against the Giants, beginning with a leadoff man right here on WGN Sports at 1 o'clock Friday, same time, same place as the Arizona Diamondbacks come in. 2007 Cubs baseball in HD, sponsored by Comcast. Again, note the early start tomorrow night. 6 o'clock. A couple of other changes coming up on July 30th against the Phillies. That'll also be a 6:05 start. And then Sunday night, August 5th, when the Mets are here, the finale of that series, it'll be a 7:05 first pitch. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wirtz against Burke. Strike 1. Jeff Garland coming up with our 7th inning stretch after the 3rd out. Hoping it happens really soon. 0-2. Great visit by Larry Rothschild.
Good meeting. Just absolutely painted that outside corner with back-to-back pitches.
The 0-2. Another bouncer. Soto's been on a wall back there.
Now that's where he wanted that 0-2 breaking ball. Put it down there in the dirt, hope to get the swinging strike, and count on your catcher to block that ball.
Set a major league record for a number of baseballs used in a half inning. Seems like every pitch has resulted in a new baseball because it's found the dirt. Now he's got to throw something close. 3-2 with 2 outs. Point a gapper here probably scores all 3. And everybody will be running with the pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, actor, comedian, and Chicago native, Jeff Garland.
Hey, everybody. I brought with me the man who made me a Cub fan. My father, Gene Garland, made me a Cub fan. A 1, a 2, a 3. take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubs. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Yeah, let's get some run. Yeah.
Well, Michael Wirtz filled up the count and then fanned Chris Burke with a bases full of Astros to get out of the 7th inning. And the Cubs try to add on. And a new pitcher now for Houston, Chad Qualls, with Eric Bruntlett staying in at short and Jeff Garland with us. And
whew, that was wonderful. That was tense. That was crazy. But you know what? I love when it's that much, that peak of excitement. My God, here at Wrigley, feeling first place, that close. That's a great thing.
You know, and they say you make your own breaks, and it seems like those check swings and, you know, did he foul it? Did he catch it?
Right.
They're going the Cubs' way now.
They are going the Cubs' way now. It's changed. But you know what? I knew it would.
You knew, huh?
I did. I told everybody it's going to work out great.
So your dad's with you today?
Yes, I brought my dad up from Florida to be with me. Biggest Cub fan I know. He made me a Cub fan.
And he said his 50th high school reunion.
50th high school reunion. I'm on my 40th, so figure out the math. Good night, everybody.
2-2 on Derek Lee, who hit a 3-run homer in the 2nd inning, his first home run since June 3rd.
I was at the All-Star game and I talked to Derek. He's just the greatest guy. Look at that! Yes!
Base hit in the left.
That'll be my call, by the way. Look at that. Yes. It's my call.
Well, just to show you how great a Cub fan Jeff Garland is, this was when Wirtz struck out Burke. Watch this. All right, get your composure. There we go.
I mean, what's better than that? That's a reason for living. That's a reason for living, my friends.
You know,
Chicago
Jeff,
Cubs baseball.
That's one of the great things about our job. We see a moment like that, a big strikeout, and we get to see the reaction of the entire crowd here at the ballpark, and to have you jumping around.
Oh, that's right. Well, it just, my gosh. That's all I can say is my gosh. I get goosebumps. Goosebumps. Let's just keep winning. Let's do it. We're doing it.
Well, Milwaukee did win today, but
well, they can win when they want to. That's their business. We just got to do our business. Just keep winning, and they're not going to be able to handle the pressure. See, that's what's great about the veteran ball club. You know, we'll be able to handle the pressure. How old are their average age? Is what, 17?
Yeah, just about.
You know? Yeah. So their infield, I think, is an average age of 16. So, no, they won't be able to handle it.
4-3 the final as they beat the Rockies today. So if the Cubs win here, they would remain 3.5 back, but surging. And sometimes, Jeff, you know, it's not such a bad idea just to hang back a little bit, maybe give it a few days or weeks. Still a long way to go.
As a Cub fan, I felt what it's like being the Brewers right now. We've been in front for a long period of time, and then suddenly no more. So I'm more than happy to be in second place until the last day of the season. So it doesn't matter to me. More than happy.
A runner on, nobody out here in the 7th. So what's going on right now with you?
What's going on with me?
You are doing some stand-up?
Yeah, do stand-up, you know, but Curb Your Enthusiasm's coming back September 9th.
Great.
And I have a movie that I filmed here in Chicago called Let's Wait for the Pitch. No, we threw it first. I Want Someone to Eat Cheese with myself, Sarah Silverman, and Bonnie Hunt. And that premieres in Chicago. It opens in New York September 5th, but in Chicago, I believe, September 28th at the Music Box Theater.
Jeff Garland, Sarah Silverman, Bonnie Hunt.
Yep.
I'm in.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Please come. I'll be there when it opens here. I'll be at all the screenings saying hello to people. That's the kind of movie maker I am. Well, when it's only playing at 3 theaters at once, it's not that hard to. It's an independent movie, you know what I mean?
Right.
Little artsy, independent thing about Chicago.
Well, Bob and I are very much into that sort of film.
Oh, well, then you'll dig it.
Lee runs. Ramirez
let's see.
skies to right, and Scott will make the catch. Now, forgive me, I don't remember which show. I think it might have been a late-night talk show. We might have been on the road, and I had it on, and there you are as a guest. And I think the line was, if you're looking for a shameless plug, I'm your guy. You were talking about the green room. Do you know what show it was?
Talking about the green room.
You were joking around about the green room, and then they asked you for a shameless plug, and then you just rattled off all the things you're doing. I mean,
well, I was more than happy to. Yeah, I'm happy to do a plug. Who doesn't want a plug? Please, plug. Curb September 9th, movie here September 28th. It's all good. And the Cubs in October. Those are all the things on my agenda. That's what I've got going.
Strike on Soriano. I know it's not the Sopranos, but you'd like to keep the themes secretive with Curb. What can we expect this year?
Speaking of the Sopranos, if I do leak anything out, Larry will have me killed. So that's why I like to say it's more of the same yet different. Okay, that's what it'll be. That's what we try and do. So here's hoping for a 20-minute inning. That's what I'm hoping for here right now. I want to spend a lot of time with you guys and watch them come circling around a bunch.
We're in on that. Long pause by Qualls. Now the pitch. Soriano couldn't find it.
Yeah, I believe we talked to you last year about when you lived here in Wrigleyville with, with your roommate, the Odd Couple.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien and I lived. That building right there on the corner of Waveland and Kenmore, we're the next building over, and this other building that was next to it, the second building in, that wasn't there. So from our back porch, we could see into the stadium. It was pretty fantastic. And also, when you watch the game on TV and you had your window open, it was better than surround sound. Because that was crazy. It was the year that they put the lights in, and the lights kept me up at night. It's true. They shined right in my bedroom window. I couldn't sleep. So yes, it affected me.
But you didn't mind, right?
Cubs baseball. Didn't mind. Cubs baseball, I didn't mind. Actually, I did mind. I still don't like night baseball. I don't come to night games. You'll never hear me sing it at night. I'm a day guy. Mark DeRosa's up, by the way.
Yes, he is.
He's a very handsome young man. He plays the game the way it's meant to be played.
You want to call this at bat? We've done that occasionally.
He's done that occasionally?
People usually freeze when I hand over the ring.
I'm not going to freeze.
Go ahead, call it.
All right, he's shaking the bat back and forth. He's looking at the pitcher and he's thinking, what am I going to have for dinner? All right, here we go. And the pitch inside, throws down the second, and he's safe because the ball goes into center field. And he's taking third base. That's Derek Lee. When I call things, good things happen. And can I just say right now, I want to apologize to all your viewers, because Lord knows I'm terrible. It's like me handing you the mic and going, here, do some stand-up.
Oh, that would be bad.
But, yeah, I love the way people think they can just come up here and call the game. You know, if I sat up here with you guys, I might be good maybe 50 games in.
Well, you did.
Might be good. Not even very good.
You did a stand-up show in Atlanta, I believe, last year.
Yes.
A bunch of Cubs came, and they were chatting. They were talking, and you zinged them, didn't you?
Of course I did. Yeah, a whole group
What was the line?
Oh, I don't. Did they tell you the line? I don't even remember.
Oh, here was the line, essentially. You said, you know what? I was at the Cubs game today. I enjoyed it, and you had this nice, long, elaborate story, and it was great, and to see these guys over here, but I didn't talk while they were performing. It was like,
hey, that's the truth. I did not. As a matter of fact, I remember Rich Hill. I went to all 3 games in Atlanta. Actually, no, it's 2 weekend games during the day. And Rich Hill, when he's in he knows me. And when he's standing in the on-deck circle, he looks right at me. It's as if he doesn't know me. He's so focused, you know. Did I talk to him? No. Left him alone. Derek Lee at the All-Star game says to me, hey, come on down to the clubhouse when you could come and sing on Sunday. No, I will not. Because you know why? He's a professional doing his job. Doesn't need the fat comedian coming down to the clubhouse. I have respect. Come on, Mark DeRosa. Now I'm done.
All right, 5 seconds to plug again.
Yes. September 9th, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And here in Chicago, September 28th, I Want Someone to Eat Cheese With. And the Cubs always. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you.
7-6 Cubs as we get into the 8th. Well, still 6 outs to get. It hasn't gone as scripted with the pitching today, as Jason Marquis went just 4 innings. Scott Air 2/3 of an inning. Carlos Marmol made his appearance today in the 5th and was taken out in the 7th inning. And right now Michael Wirtz, and he got a big strikeout to end the threat in the 7th, starting the 8th. The 2-0 pitch to Hunter Pence popped up. New lineup configuration today against a left-handed starter. Ryan Theriot leading off. Alfonso Soriano hitting 5th. So Lou not afraid to make changes with his team struggling against southpaws. Now the next lefty is Ryan Dempster in the dugout on the DL right now. Hopefully he'll be back at some point later this week. The next lefty the Cubs will face will be Barry Zito Tuesday night. He's just 6-9 with a 4.90 earned run average. He's making a lot more money than Sean Marshall, but Marshall will go into that start 4-3 with a 3.48. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Always a big out in a 1-run ball game. Get that leadoff man, especially a guy like Hunter Pence that's got great speed, can steal a base, score from first on an extra base hit. Get him out of there from our Southwest RoboCam. Michael Wirtz goes up the ladder, elevates a fastball, gets the swinging strike.
Cubs have not retired Berkman all day. RBI single, 2-run double, and then back-to-back walks. And talking about Barry Zito, sounds like he might have put a heap of pressure on himself after signing the richest contract ever for a pitcher. Tough to live up to that, and A-Rod could tell you all about it after signing his contract several years ago at Texas.
And certainly flying in the face of conventional wisdom. Everybody thinks that a pitcher's coming from the American League to the National League suddenly see a spike in their numbers, partially due to unfamiliarity. The league doesn't know them very well yet, and also the fact you're facing a pitcher as opposed to a designated hitter, but hasn't worked out that way yet for Barry Zito.
It's 2-2 on Berkman. The eerily quiet Carlos Lee on deck. He's 0 for 4. Tap foul, your former big leaguer Jose Cruz. Howery up. Jose Cruz Sr. wears a retired uniform number. His own, number 25. Astros retired in 1992. Off the plate, not by much on a heater.
Couldn't have missed by very much. Soto moves on that inside corner. Ball just a little late with the movement there. Didn't quite get back to the inside corner. What a great location, however. If you're going to miss in your favor. That's that little tailing fastball. If you leave that too far over the plate, it tails right into the sweet spot of Lance Berkman's bat. So that time Michael Wirtz missed in his favor, even though it was out of the strike zone inside.
Count is full on Berkman. popped up on the infield. This one belonging to Ryan Theriot. Hey, music fans, OAR coming to the Charter One Pavilion on Northerly Island Thursday, July 26th. With special guest August Stana, part of the Bud Light Concert Series. Tickets are on sale now. Visit livenation.com or call Ticketmaster at 312-559-1212. Bud Light and live music, always worth it. In that game in Milwaukee, Matt Wise got the win for the Brewers in relief. Jeremy Affeldt took the loss for the Rockies, and Francisco Cordero saved his 28th. 4-3 the final. Ground ball. Scooped up by his tourists. He'll shoot it across to Derek Lee in a 1-2-3 eighth inning. For Michael Wirtz, 7-6 Cubs. Six Cubs, bottom of the eighth, the second largest crowd of the year today. 41-7-5-7. Just an incredible atmosphere. And we have a pinch hitter now. Jock Jones for Giovanni Soto. And just like you said, you had that luxury with the third catcher.
Well, and also you have the luxury because all three of your catchers are strong defensively. If you have a weak link in there, one of your catchers who's strictly an offensive player, you wouldn't do this to get him in the game late. But because all three are so adept at handling the pitching staff, throwing out runners, blocking balls in the dirt, this is a very easy move for Lou Piniella.
Well, this is one of those days where Jason Marquis did not get through the requisite 5 innings to qualify for the win. So it's the discretion of the official scorer, the most effective reliever. I can get the exact wording. Swing and a miss by Jones. Well, it looks like if it holds up this way, Michael Wirtz, assuming he does not pitch in the 9th inning, would get the win. He and Marmol both going an inning and a third. Slicing foul. Well, the bullpens have done a nice job, haven't they? On both sides.
A lot of ink in those first 3 innings of the ball game. We thought this was really going to turn into a slugfest, but the bullpens have brought some sanity back to this ball game.
Wirtz with the biggest strikeout of the day with the bases loaded in the 7th. Bounce to the pitcher, Qualls. He'll underhand to first. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Get into some serious monkey business with a full hour of funniest pets and people. Weekends at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Cubs leading 7-6, trying to sweep the Astros to start the second half. Giants in for 4, Diamondbacks next weekend for 3. And Arizona, one of those teams ahead of the Cubs in the wild card race. The Padres currently leading. The Braves a half game out. Atlanta won today 5-1 over Pittsburgh. Diamondbacks Diamondbacks a game and a half back. The Cubs 3 out. And in fourth, Phillies 3.5 out. Comebacker base hit. Second hit for Angel.
Right through the wickets. You'll watch as Qualls finishes his follow through. He ends up with the right foot over there closer to first base, the left foot in the landing hole, and he shot it right between the legs, up the middle into center field for a base hit.
Bunted right out in front of the plate by his tourist, picked up by Ausmus. Sacrifice 2-3. To get an insurance run in scoring position.
We have to believe that was his tourist bunting on his own right there. Yeah, rather than give up an out in that situation, you'd like to see maybe Cesar take a few pitches, give Angel Pagan an opportunity to get a jump and perhaps steal second base. And you could drive him in with another run, but bunts the first pitch he sees, move Pagan into scoring position for Ryan Theriot.
Inside. Yeah, in the spot we're in today, the official score shall credit as the winning pitcher the relief pitcher if there is only one, or the relief pitcher who, in the official score's judgment, was the most effective if there is more than one relief pitcher. That's directly out of the official rule book. Darrell Ward on deck. So it could be Michael Wirtz. Bob Howard will come on in the ninth. Big swing by Theriot. And there's a lot more added to it, as we know, in the rule book, because nothing is quite that simple, but you get the point. Theriot just got a piece of it. Hey, happy 30th to Colin Clark, account executive with the Cubs in the marketing department. Happy 30th to Colin. Also, big happy birthday to Vito Birdie. A belated birthday wish. Vito from Westchester. Kick in a 1-2. Buried in the dirt. Ausmus blocking.
Well, with each successive pitch, Darrell Ward gets a little closer to home plate from that on-deck circle. He wants an at-bat so badly right here. He's trying to sneak up into the batter's box while Theriot's still hitting. Yeah, he started on the other side of that logo over there on the dirt and has gradually worked his way out into the grass. He's going to try to sneak in there somehow.
Won't get an opportunity, however, as Theriot lines to the first baseman, Lance Berkman. Here comes the ninth. Cubs 7, Astros 6. Well, the big 6-run second gave the Cubs the lead. The Astros would tie it in the third, but Ryan Theriot's leadoff homer in the fourth, the last run to date. And Bob Howry takes over on the mound. In fact, an entirely new battery for the Cubs, as he will work with Coy Hill, try to close out a sweep. Bruntlett came on as a pinch runner for Mark Loretta in the seventh. Down the line, DeRosa over, waist-high catch. Might have been a brief bobble, but kids at home, 2 hands.
Well, you know Mark DeRosa is going to do the right thing fundamentally, and he uses two hands there. Caught that ball down near the heel of the glove and able to corral it with his bare hand before it sneaks out of the glove. Well, I would venture to guess, and we'll have to ask Mark this, the biggest adjustment from playing infield to playing outfield, when you play outfield and have to run so far to get to the ball, your head has a tendency to bounce a little bit as you're running across the outfield. And when your head bounces, that ball tends to move while it's in midair. But Mark seems to be able to run on the balls of his feet. Stays very calm, very cool and collected. His head stays very still as he tracks those fly balls in the outfield.
Pop foul, 2 strikes on Mike Lamb. Luke Scott right in front of our camera on deck. Too high, 1-2. Well, it'd be great to win today. Bail out your starter. It's been a team effort throughout this hot stretch. And Ryan Theriot hoping that he hit the game-winning home run way back in the 4th. Big day for Derek Lee. 3 hits, including his first home run since early June. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The producer of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Pete Toma. Our directors Skip Ellison, our associate producer Mark Brady, the executive producer of WGN Sports Bob Borwald. Thanks as well to our stage manager in the booth, Angie Adocchio, our studio coordinator back at WGN, Christina Ballas. Also thanks to Ben Heisler, our production assistant, and the rest of our great crew here in the friendly confines.
Boy, and so far Bob Howard, for the first 2 outs of the 9th inning, has hit his spot with every pitch. Boy, Hill wanted a fastball elevated to Mike Lamb. He was able to do that, threw it up high out of the strike zone, and then just hammered away at that outside corner with the next 2 pitches to get the strikeout. Get ahead fastball to Luke Scott here to start this at bat.
Looking to notch save number 5 as he fills in for Ryan Dempster. 1 strike on Luke Scott.
Troy Hill wanted the fastball in there, and Bob Howard gets it in there. Once again, missed in his favor. Further inside. You don't want that ball to tail out over the heart of the plate.
Oh, 1-1. Now 2-1. A strike, a little late call there by Tony Randazzo. 2-2.
Very late call. Looked like a good pitch. Upon further consideration, I think I'll call that one a strike.
Fly ball to left. Soriano circling now, coming in. Cubs win. Cubs sweep. 7-6. They come back. They were down 5-0 in the 2nd inning. Scored 6 times. The Astros would tie it in the 3rd, but then Ryan Theriot's home run in the 4th And a bullpen, Bob, made it stand.
Sometimes, as you said, it takes a village. Everybody on the team has to contribute. And in a day when the starting pitcher got cuffed around a little bit early, the bullpen was able to come in, put up 5 innings of zeros, give their offense a chance to get back in the ball game and ultimately win it.
So the Cubs hold serve with Milwaukee winning today as well. 7-6 the final. We'll be back.